Welcome to Bullets Nation, the podcast by Bullets fans for Bullets fans. I'm your host, Tracy Malone, a Bullets member since we came back into the league 10 years ago. In sports teams, players change, coaches change, staff move on. But we don't, Bullets fans. We're the constant. We've been here since the early days and we'll still be here when the next banner goes up. This is our space to talk about our team at length. No 30-second hot takes here. We're here for real hoop chat. We love this club. We argue, we cheer, we ride every run, we carry every loss. So settle in and suit up. If you're Bullets family, you're at home here. This is Bullets Nation. As always, I will tip off today by welcoming my co-hosts, Scott Husband and Cameron Porlock.
Hello.
I'll try to see if I can.
So the first thing I'd like to say is, can you see it now, Bullets family? After that home game, can you see what they're aiming for when they put this team together? We'll get more into that later, but I just wanted to say, get on the train. You've got to start believing. Cairns got beaten by Adelaide by 31 points at home in Cairns with most of their rostered players. So take a beat, Bullets fans. We did good. We're doing well. We're doing well. Couple of shout outs now. I want to shout out to Rocco, who had his first game a couple of days ago in the preseason for Minnesota against the Nuggets. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 steal, big man, for 13 minutes. Rocco, just so you know, there are still so many people wearing your number to Bullets games. Also, a cheeky little shout out to the Red Army, who stood for almost 5 minutes over there in Perth waiting for their team to score on Thursday night. Haven't times changed? You got in for the win, so I can say it, and you don't have to have a go at me because you got to it. Last shout out from me, happy birthday to Tohi Smith Milner for Monday, the 6th of October. Happy birthday, big man. I hope you got to celebrate.
Happy birthday,
All right.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah, how cool is that? All right, over to you, Cam.
So, trivia Thursday again. Question was, which two Bullets players have won the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Grand Finals MVP in the same year? So, Sam McKinnon, 2007, and Leroy Loggins, 1987. I believe there's only one other player that's achieved that in the NBL, and that was Chris Anstey in 2008 for the Tigers. So it's a very, very small little field of who's achieved that. Well done to Donna, who was the first to respond to our post on our page with the correct answer. That was my little thing that I threw in this week, that they had to respond to our page. So well done to Donna.
Yeah, get amongst it on our page. Come and join us in our community. And I really love that photo you put up on Throwback Tuesday. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so that was myself and a couple of school childhood friends with Emery Atkinson, taken way back in, we think it was 1988, maybe 89. There was a bit of debate with my mum and myself as to when that was taken, and a cake that my sister had made for him. You know, those were back in the days we had a lot of interaction with the players. And so, yeah, it's one of our favorite photos in the family. I've got it framed here in my house with a couple of other photos. So, yeah, so I'll be throwing up a few other things like that every Tuesday. I've got something for tomorrow that I'm going to add a little question to. So keep an eye on that for the next Throwback Tuesday.
Fantastic. And if anyone else has got some photos out there, they can send them in to the page as well.
Yep, share them with us.
Because Cam's going to run out sooner or later. He might have a few, but
eventually.
We're going to need some more eventually.
Yeah.
So let's talk first. I wanted to talk first about the game day experience, because we came on at the end of last season, Cam, and we talked about the game day experience and the members experience. So let's talk about that first. You and I were at the game live. Scott will get to one soon with us as well. But
Definitely.
So tell me what your thoughts were.
Yeah, so I thought it was great. I think they do their game days pretty good already. I love like the blimp fee and the game day competition things that they go. I enter them every game. I actually won 3 prizes last year by entering them. So I always tell people do it, because there's always a chance that you are going to win.
Never know your luck.
Yeah, you never know your luck, you know. I liked the Q&A in the members bar. I thought that was absolutely great. Only downside to that is that they had moved the members bar to a smaller venue, probably a little bit too small. there was a lot of people that were unable to get in before for the Q&A, so they missed out on that. And I'd had a chat with a couple of people while I was actually walking out of the stadium after the game that were quite unhappy. So I think the Bullets may have a few emails coming through this week. I like the new layout of the big screens that they've got. They've fixed that with the stats and so forth. I thought that was good. And then having the two scoreboards down the other end with all the players and so forth going at the same time. So that was great. Just a bit of a shame that the big one wasn't in sync with the actual score at the start of the game. But yeah, that front foyer was absolutely packed walking in, and was just so good to see that many people there having fun.
Just shy of 7,000, apparently.
Yeah.
Yep.
It seemed busy.
Yeah. They did a really great job. I agree, it was great. I just saw more of an attention to detail on the things happening around. So there was shooting basketballs out the front before we got in because people were lining up from 6 p.m. By the time they opened the gates at 6:30, the lineups were massive. A good 1,000 people there just standing outside waiting to get in. So I think they really should make it a 6 p.m. gate opening for an 8 p.m. game. Lots more little hoop things on the way through. They had lots of fun blow-up hoop things, just lots of fun. So we walked through and did all of those new ones. The usual suspects that I love to see were there, the Triple M, and I really love the construction pathways. We always have to do that one. It's like, it doesn't matter what time we get there, we have to do construction pathways because they've got the lollipops and the clackers and things. So they keep my hands fresh during the games. That was great to see them back again. What I was wondering, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, Cam. It's kind of down there where you sit, that big open basketball that looks like a hamburger. What is it for?
I could not figure it out. I saw it and I'm like, what is that? I didn't see anyone in it. So maybe I
So
wasn't.
where I was sitting, I could see kids sitting in it
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
I was jaking before the game and I was like, maybe it'll be like a Pac-Man and I'll go and chomp up the
Yeah. Well,
Jack
I
Jumpers.
yeah, I thought maybe it was like a little car that someone would sit in and it would
I
collapse down and
thought,
they could drive it around. No
yeah.
idea what it was.
I thought Boom was going to come out of it.
Yeah.
I thought I had all these ideas as what was going to happen to it and with it, and nothing was the
Yeah.
answer. Not a thing. It sat there and was just a basketball that looks like a hamburger,
Yeah.
massive, and
Yeah.
did nothing. So anyway,
Yes.
that was that. Members bar, too small, definitely, but fantastic. I do hope they change it though, because we were there for the talk, and then as we were leaving, there was a massive lineup. So
Yeah.
they could only have a certain amount of numbers in there, and
Yeah.
that's not going to fly. So you can't restrict your members. You need a big
No.
space for everyone to get in, and hopefully they've been so proactive to everything we've said. I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem. I
No.
don't see a problem. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, I get why they had changed the venue, because last season when you went into the members bar, there wasn't a lot of people in there. And so I think they thought maybe it'd be same sort of numbers and that'd be big enough to handle that.
Do you think they just underestimated the
I think,
required numbers?
yeah, I think with what they're introducing with the Q&A and so forth, and the chance of an upgrade if you were in before 7 p.m., I think that actually drew a lot more people in than what they were probably anticipating.
I
Yeah.
think they changed it as well to make it easier for the players, because the players would have to walk past a lot of people
Yeah.
to get into the members bar. So I think they're
Yes.
doing the right things. I think they just underestimated themselves. But thanks to everyone who came and said hi. It was
Yes.
great to chat with you all. And the Q&A was with Holt, Jacob Holt and Nordo, and Malcolm Watts, the CEO. The CEO did say they had a little bit of a little chat, and then he said, I don't think we've played with any intensity yet. I don't think the Bullets have ever played with the right amount of intensity. And so I'm like, so you're talking about the first game of the season, you're talking about the game that Nordo was in. Like, I was like, this is
The
really
Cairns
interesting.
game?
I can't disagree with him. I don't disagree with what he said. And so that was really great. We heard from both Holt and Nordo, and then we had questions. And I asked, when are we going to see Holt on the floor? And he said 4 weeks. And then Malcolm joked and he said, or maybe next week.
Yes.
At this rate, we've got
That's
so
just
many
teasing
injuries.
us.
Yeah.
Well, it was just like, because he's standing up there and he's like, so we've got injuries again, and we've got all these injuries, and they're all out of our control. He did say that JFL, his injury was the day before his training. So his ankle was good and he tweaked a hamstring the day before. So it's like, that's
Yeah.
kind of good news, but not really, because he's had 2 injuries in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what's going on with his body? And Stu Lash said it in his presser as well. It's like, it's uncontrollable. So we can't think about it. We're here and we need to deal with what we've got. And so what they did do is they're like, that's what the bench is for. That's why we have a roster. That's what these players are for. Like, this is it. We just have to deal with what the cards we're dealt. So that's great. They did say, as you mentioned, Cam, that they were going to draw members to lucky members courtside seats. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they just forgot. I'm sure it was just first game, first time. Whoops, we forgot. So I'm sure that'll be back next time. And what else Malcolm said up there was that Jacob Holt is special. He said he's very special. And then, not to leave Nordo out, he said for intensity, if we could take a bit of Nordo's blood and inject it into everyone else, we'll be fine. But he said that we want him here for the long term. And Jacob said himself that he wants to be here for the long term. He wants to be a Bullet for a very long time. So that's something to be excited about. And did you notice? I actually didn't notice. It was somebody pointed it out to me that there was no blue suit on the CEO this season.
I didn't until you sent me the message to point it out. I hadn't noticed.
No blue suit. I think we run a poll and ask, should he bring back the blue suit, or are you happy to see the back of it? I don't know.
Another poll,
know.
where is it? The dry cleaners, the cupboard, the salvos.
Just trying something different out.
Yeah, well, the Salvos are very lucky because that's a Will Valor suit. That is a beautiful suit.
Well, that was very tongue in cheek, but I'm sort of, if I'm not a betting man, but either the dry cleaners or it's just like it's
Gone to the back of the cupboard.
it's just on hiatus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memory of the unhappy members coat hanger. So courtside announcers. We had no more Johnny drama. We've got Nashi back, who was with us a little while when Johnny was on the TV show. I thought he would be better because he'd done it before. This is the first time they're going to blow out these cobwebs. They're going to get better and better. These are not big complaints, people, but there were just little things that I was cringing a wee bit. Where is it, Brooke? Have I got the name right? Can't remember the woman's name. It's a woman and Nashi. I'll get her name. The questions that were being asked of people who were there. So they were asking one of the fans, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, watching basketball." So what? Watching the Broncos. Interesting question. I was like, obviously she hasn't prepared very well for this, so nobody's coached her to get the questions in. So I think this is a team thing. This is not just on her. This is a team thing. They need to coach. They need to get better.
Training, quite.
More training. Ask better questions. ChatGPT, for goodness sakes. Like, Google it. Like, whatever. Just better questions. And then there were influencers there, and so she went and asked the influencers, "How much do you know about basketball?" And they're like, they use a ball and they do a bit of running up and down the court. And I was like, oh, goodness me. Okay. So I've got a suggestion. So that they can win. I want it to win. I want him to win. I want the courtside announcers to win and become a part of this family, because they're already a part of it, but we want everyone to thrive in here. We don't need to talk to influencers and famous people. Just put them up on the screen like they did with Chris Fagan. We give them a wave and a cheer. Everyone's happy they're there and we move on. If you want to talk to somebody, get a little bit of a board and go find yourself a member. Somebody who is a diehard Brizzy fan who pays good money up front to come and watch a game, and ask them who their favourite player is. Who do they expect to play well this time? Ask better questions. And I think if you do that, we'll just have a better game day experience. And, we really need to shine a light on the people who do want to be there and who do love the game and who do love the team and who know something about the game. Not me. I don't need to be on it. Go find your map and get yourself a member and choose a different section and a different member each time. Just sit down and have a chat with them. Cheer squad, new cheer squad, they look great. It was the person I sit next to who noticed. He was like, she was in the first squad. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes, she was. So one of the point dancer. She has now taken over the squad and she's chosen the squad, and I think they did a really fantastic job. Jumbotron was very awesome. I saw different stats were up there, so I was a little bit in stats heaven. I was so excited. So a massive shout out to that change, because so they had rebounds and percentages and everything up on the Jumbotron, and then they had the stats for fouls and scores on the side. So I was just like, we're good here now. Thank you. The crowd, Scott, was 6,946 people. So well done to the Bullet staff. What an amazing job they've done to fill that many seats. Everything they've done, it paid off, and the atmosphere was great. So Bullets fans, you came out and you did us all proud. I don't know where I saw this, but the players have said that as Bullets fans, we're a little bit too nice to the opposition, and they would actually like to see us having a bit of a go at them. I was booing that call that Vaughan made, that dodgy one that comes with that WOP signal. I was a big boo. And Dukas was going, yes, more, have a go at him. So Bullets fans, don't be afraid to boo people. It's all in the fun of sport. You know we love them.
Yeah, I think we should have given, what's his name, the little guard.
Ben Air.
Ben Air. He should have copped a lot more when he had the little tantrum down the end.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a few fans down that end to give it to him.
Yeah.
So those are the moments when you really need to get into them a little bit more and rile them up.
That one was on the Boom squad. We should have got the Boom squad on that one, which is
actually,
another great initiative.
yes.
God, they looked good.
Yeah, I was just about to say I really liked the Boom squad and them all holding the burgers down that end for the free throws. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was great.
Yep, fantastic. So they all wear like Hawaiian shirts, but they're Bullets colours. They gave them big streamers and big hamburger signs, and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So what a great initiative. I love to see it. And then we had a game. We had a game against the Jack Jumpers. So let's first talk about our defence. What do you see, Cam?
Yeah, so our defense I thought was pretty damn good for most of the game, and then just a few poor lapses late. That Tyrell losing Magne right near the end for me really hurt, and kind of for me is unforgivable when the game's that close. You can't lose a player of that caliber that easily. So I thought defense was looking a lot better for something that we've been harping on about. I thought they really stepped up in this game.
Yeah. So when I watched the replay, because I wanted to see that, I
Yeah.
was like, what happened there? And so when you look at it, I believe that one was Dukas's responsibility.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it really looked like Tyrell, but he needed to stay glued there. So in the position that they were in, there needed to be a shift there, and it was Dukas's responsibility to stay glued
Yeah.
there. So it looked like it was Tyrell because he was hedging.
Yeah.
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 But I also believe that if Togi was on the court playing the 4, not the 5, but the 4, I don't think that big gap would have happened. So that's
Yeah.
the only complaint I have, because I think there were great choices in the game. So that's the only thing I would have changed then in those minutes to get him on. But I do agree it was definitely an improvement. And I saw an intensity that has been lacking. So Malcolm Watts cannot stand up next home game and say, we did not see the intensity. He will say, we found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a bit of a concern about closeouts. There are a few plays where you see the shot clock. Obviously, I'm watching the television broadcast where shot clock goes red because it's the last 5 seconds on the shot clock. So it's getting low. And I was like, oh, they're so close to, and then they scored. They managed to score, but it was at least a few times. And admittedly, TJ Starks, we had little to no intel on him, but box out, close out when it all comes down to it. Roth said he was coached via Zoom for 7 days before arriving. They got a good one, so he was tough to guard.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm watching the play and the clock wind down, and I'm thinking, oh, someone's going to make a shot, and I'll so glass half empty. But yeah, there you have it.
Yeah. And they out-rebounded us by a lot more than what the score showed. So they weren't doing those basics that you talk about, Scott.
Yeah.
So we had
Yeah.
32 rebounds to the Jack Jumpers 43, and we had 8 offensive, 24 defensive, and they had 11 offensive and 32 defensive. So just a massive difference all round. I'm with you. Basics need to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I just thought of something as we were talking then, and you mentioned Starks. Chances of him possibly replacing Campbell, Tiger Campbell for them.
Yeah. Officially, he's
So
going to China, but
he's
there's a lot
going,
of
no, so
speculation.
I watched overtime tonight. He's going to China and then he's got another deal after that. So
Okay.
he's literally
Okay.
done.
Because he
Yeah.
looked good. He
Yeah.
looked very good.
Yeah. So they didn't say where the deal was.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just
Yeah.
in the CBA, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen overtime yet, but I assume that's what they.
Yeah. So they
referring to.
said he's got his China contract and then straight after China, he's already got another contract.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine it would be the NBL, but Roth has already tried to recruit him before.
Okay. Yeah. All good.
He's got a good eye for them.
Yeah. Yeah. My next thing would be Jalen Adams. I loved his aggression. He came out from the get-go. And yeah, he put up that first 3. I must admit, I held my breath a little bit and was so good to see it go in for him. He just managed to continually get his feet in the paint, and he caused so many problems for them. They didn't really have an answer for him especially in that first half. I think he only had 4 points in the second half, which was a little bit concerning, but I think that's because the others were stepping up and doing their job. And the only little negative that I've got on his game for this one was his turnovers. We had seven turnovers to 7 assists. We only had 13 team turnovers, so we had more than half of our turnovers. So just need to tweak that a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. The assist to turnover ratio, on the face of it, it's a concern, but hopefully with more troops coming back, it'll be alleviated by having some more offensive options. The shot selection is a bit of a question I have in terms of his instinct was to just get 2 feet into the paint, which I get it works a lot of the time, but we need to trust him, I guess. Like often he would drive and would just simply end up scoring, which that's what he's good at. But there's teammates open in the corner sometimes. Some people talk about don't settle for a good shot when there's a great shot. What Stu was saying, Jalen had put in extra work at the facility, so it's not a question of effort. And he clearly has a desire, even though people talk about, body language, blah, blah, blah. If he's putting in extra work at practice, he obviously, he's got some hunger to get better.
Yeah.
So we have to trust him.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of leads into a question from one of our followers on Facebook, Michael Murray. So he asked, how does the team help Adams with his shooting confidence? He's driving well, but reluctant to shoot the 3, and the teams will start to sag off him very soon and clog it up for Ty. So yeah, what do you think? How do you think they can do that?
I have a couple of thoughts. One is just more reps, and that he instinctively will know whether to pass or shoot.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, yeah.
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 Yeah. I think he's done way more than last game already. I don't have any worry about Jalen Adams anymore at all. And last time I was worried and I did want him to step up, but I saw that step up. This time I saw a more balanced game. So he had the right amount of aggressive drive to the basket and then knowing when to let others shine. So there may be times where he misses that pass out there, but there are other times where he will forgo a good shot for somebody else's great shot, and he will use his body and his reputation as the threat to allow others to shine. So I actually think it was really balanced this time, much more. I think one of the big problems that Jalen Adams has is that he looks so relaxed in everything that he does. So he doesn't look like he's bringing intensity. Early in the third quarter, he got a steal. He looked like he was moseying on down the end for his nice little layup. Nobody could catch him. Like at his at ease pace, which is really nice. You want players to be relaxed and playing at full intensity. Like He can move, and the fact that he plays in that relaxed way, people may think that he's lacking intensity and he's not looking aggressive enough as he does it. Yeah, so I think that is the problem. But somebody in our Bullets Facebook group was saying that he had a bad game. And then a few people, like you guys, went in and just disagreed and went, hold on a second, have a look at this, and a few others.
Yeah.
And he went back and he watched it on TV and he went, oh no, he actually did quite well, didn't he? He looks like he's relaxed. He looks like he's not doing much, and he is doing a whole bunch. I'm not worried about his 3-point shot. He will take it. He will make it when he needs to. It will keep improving. He will just keep getting better and better because of who he is.
Yeah.
Just with Jalen, I think it's on at face value, you think, oh, 7 turnovers is bad. But you got to realize he's the point guard. He's the starting point guard. And with that comes risks that taken.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it just 7's maybe just that little too high for my liking.
Oh, for sure.
I'd love him.
at that
I'd love
point,
him to
but-
tidy that up.
Yeah.
I'd love him to tidy that up. But again, new team, still getting to know each other on the floor, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just me being really nitpicky. I didn't have too much else with his game.
And with a load of white shirts as well,
Yeah,
load
that's
of
it.
bench players.
Yeah, and that's it. And with his 3-point shot, I said this last week, I think it's more in his head. So as you said, Scott, more reps and practice and working on that. Maybe working out with DMAC and getting up those extra shots the way he's been working, getting in a bit more time in the high performance center will help sort that out.
Nordo? Remember what Nordo did to get his 3-pointer better? He did 100 made 3-pointers at the end of every training session.
Yeah.
Training would finish, he would make 100 threes, then he would go home.
Yeah. And, the team just need to back him and just keep reassuring him. They're going to fall eventually. It happens.
Yeah.
You go through it.
Yep, absolutely.
On the white shirts, 2 of the ones that got to step up into the starting 5, Tane Murray, Alex Dukas. I thought both were absolutely brilliant for the game. Tane was super aggressive, best 3-point shooter for us for the night. I think he shot at 60%. I just like everything he did at both ends. And yeah, Dukas, you can kind of clearly see he needs to get shots up to be effective. And so once our starters come back and he's coming off the bench, we're just going to have to find him those same types of shots at that same type of volume, and he'll keep producing.
Yeah. And what I really loved is I believe that they were given the directive, if you're open, shoot it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't worry, they didn't think. If they were open, they shot it. And this game, it paid off. And can you believe, I didn't know this until I watched the replay and the commentators said that Tane Murray had not made a field goal in the NBL in those first games. And he made his...
Yeah, I think it was just a couple of free throws.
Yeah. And so welcome to the NBL. He had 17 points. So 7 from 10 from the 2 and 3 from 5 for the 3. So we were asking him for a breakout game, and boy, oh boy, did he have it. So welcome to the NBL, and thank you, Tane Murray. And he had this really beautiful little weak side swing. He'd come off the weak side baseline and he'd swing under the basket, and it was a quick dime to him, and he had this little reverse layup, and they did it a few times. I could watch that all night.
Yeah.
All night. It was beautiful.
That was great. I love that one too.
Yeah, it showed great vision. Just everything about it was so great. And Dukas had 12 points. He was 4 from 11 at the 2 and 4 from 9 at the 3. And that was including those air balls. One was a brick, one was an air ball. Yeah. And I love massive kudos to him because he kept shooting. He didn't let him get him down. He didn't drop his head. His body language did not change. It was just like, oh, well, I have another go. And that is amazing. It's a sign of great coaching, building his confidence to be able to do that, and a high confidence player. So he has that confidence in himself to not drop his head and to keep going. So I think they were both amazing last night.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, obviously, the rest of the bench, they just absolutely stepped up both ends of the floor. We've been the worst in the league for our bench points per game. So seeing them all come out and actually getting points when they were on was so great to see. I felt like it all started with their defense, though. especially the last 5 minutes of that third quarter was phenomenal. I think they had 6 stops in a row.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant, and they were able to build on their offense from that because they got those stops and they were just able to run down and find those open man. Jack Purchase hitting those 2 big ones. Once again, he's a guy who likes to score, and he didn't lack any confidence. He had missed a few and so forth, and he still splashed away and yeah, had those 2 big ones from almost the exact same spot that really got the crowd going. I think had he hit that third one, the whole place would have just gone mental.
Yeah, it was the other side. He missed that one.
Yeah.
But, I said it on the last podcast, and I will say it again. There is a positive to the positive side of all of our injuries is that these guys are getting real minutes in real games against big players in the NBL. And when we get further down the stretch and we do have all of our players back, this is going to be so good for us to have these bench players who had some real minutes. And they went on that run. So that was a 12-0 run that they went on, the white shirts at the end of the third quarter. And they had 6 consecutive defensive stops, and their chemistry was excellent. And the thing about the white shirts is in training. So what we mean by white shirts is you have your starters, and they're the starting 5, and then the white shirts are always the white shirts. So they're your second 5 and your bench players. And in training, they do their drills and things, and then they play against each other every time. They don't mix these teams up. It's always starting 5 versus white shirts. And white shirts are playing the starting 5 every single training session. And so they have to play smart, and they have to play as a team, and they to get any score or stops because they're playing the 5 people that are above them on the roster, so they're better than them on the roster. So here's these 5 guys, they're playing against imports, etc., etc. So they have to play smarter, and we saw this, and I've seen it each time. I really love the chemistry. I think their chemistry at the moment is better than our starting 5's chemistry, and I loved every moment of it.
Yeah.
All right, one of our starters. Let's talk about Tyrell.
Yeah, so I think he probably had the worst game he's had in a long time. I think Magnay really did well against him, and he just never seemed to get into any sort of rhythm. I don't think it helped that he really didn't get any touches early on. It took a long time for him to get his first score up on the board. So yeah, maybe if we had gone to him a bit more early on, but yeah, didn't look good.
No, I
Just
had
a
that
quick
exact same
question.
notes.
Do you think that's a reflection of how well Magnay marked him?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I
Yeah.
think just Magnay won the battle of the bigs. I really do. I think Tyrell had a bad game, and I think that Tasmania scouted him perfectly. If we take out, he has been dominant in every game. And if you target the dominant player, and if you can get him out, there's that gaping hole right on the inside. So I absolutely 100% think it was the scout. I think Magnay nailed the scout, and they kept coming at him deliberately to get him in foul trouble. Having said that, Harrison made lazy fouls and got his hands in, and that's on him. Hands out, move your feet. And remember that it's Magnay and Harrison going at each other, but they were our original DPs. They spent a lot of time together. They know each other inside out and have done for a long time. And so anyone who is going to be able to get Harrison, it's going to be Magnay because he knows him better than other players. So just well done. Well done to Magnay. He absolutely outplayed him. And he's had his drop game of the season. He's allowed one. He's allowed one absolute stinker. And now it's done. And now he needs to come back bigger and stronger. So he has always been a +8 to 12. And I don't mean this season, I mean every season. When everyone was whinging about him, going, why do we still have him? Every coach is like, because he's a +12 every game.
Yeah.
He affects the game. He's always affected the game. Now, in his last 2 games, he's been a minus twice. He was a minus last time, and he was a -7 this game. So I'm calling on him to bring that back. And Will Magnay was a +23.
Yeah.
There's the difference. So was it Magnay? Yes, I believe it was Magnay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that who I wanted to talk about next was Jack Purchase, because I know you've been wanting more of him, Scott, and you've been asking to see him more. So take
More
the floor.
minutes for Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
because he didn't have a lot of minutes, and I think it was the first couple of games. And contribution from Jack and Tristan was needed, and Tristan particularly with the outs that we've had and what they gave on the court, we really needed it. And with what they contributed, we just fell short. And heard people say people who follow the NBL One South closely that Jack's a very capable shooter, and of course he has played in the NBL before at Perth and possibly United. I have to check that. But he plays on confidence, like you were saying, getting 6 straight stops at the end of the third quarter. That was the effort of the bench.
Yeah, he was good there. So he played 17 minutes. I would have said he played maybe 5 or 8. I was really surprised to see that he played 17 minutes, and he was 2 of 7 from both the 2-point line and the 3-point line. And so those 2 threes that he did get, even though he was 2 of 7, gee, we needed him.
Yeah.
So he did really well. And Tristan Divas, you know, these kids are DPs and they usually get junk minutes. And they both came out and they both had a serious impact on the game. Tristan Divas did a layup. He had this move. He went through 2 Tassie players. He went up against one. He had this hang time layup in there. And I was standing up and cheering after that one. That one had me on my feet because I was like, that just showed so much. It showed confidence, maturity, timing, way beyond his years. And Tristan Divas, was a +12 for the game.
Yeah,
They had a
and
massive impact in the game.
Stu mentioned that in the presser.
Yeah.
If you don't look at the
Yeah.
box score, you don't realise how much the D helps the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did a great job, really great job. So offensively as well, I think we just had more confidence and chemistry. I'm seeing it already. We've been asking for chemistry and it's coming quite quickly, which makes me confident. When they have confidence in chemistry, I have confidence in their ability. I do wonder what will happen when Lamar Patterson gets his citizenship. So will he be brought into the team? I just think that would be a nice little depth coming through the bench. I'd like to see more of him.
Who do you drop?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it also depends on matchups as well. But yeah, once it does happen, the naturalization, at the very least, there's more options than just covering for the imports.
Yeah.
Which is when they get injured, which is what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think full injury replacement and just keep him in the rotation because more than likely somebody's always going to be injured. Yeah.
My last point is, and said it at the start of the season, and I'm going to mention it continuously while they're shooting so poorly, is their free throws. I'll keep calling them out for it until they can be knocking them down consistently. 9 of 15 for 60%. It's just not good enough. And in these tight games, you know, every little point counts. I know the Jack Jumpers were pretty horrible as well. I think they were 8 of 16. So both teams were pretty poor, but we've been consistently reasonably poor.
In a game that tight, yeah, when the result is a 2-point loss, the free throw percentage, it definitely warrants attention. But also things like rebounds as well. Those free throw percentage and rebounds are the kind of thing that you go, okay, well, we were short in those stats, and
they're those
what can
little
we do to
things we
improve
can,
that next game?
Yeah, they're
And
those
they're your
little things we
basics
can
and your
tidy up.
foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basics and foundations. What would you be happy with? What percentage, Cameron, would you be happy with?
Probably up around, say, 75 to 80%.
Yep.
80 it is. All right, it's time to talk about those 2 calls that happened at the end of the game. So I'll play a video of those now. One was called an offensive foul and one was called a flop. They changed the game considerably in the last few minutes. What do you reckon, Cam?
When it all happened, I was okay with the 2 charges that they called on Ty. I'm like, okay, that's all fine. Although that last one, Magne definitely flopped. Like, yeah, okay, it's a charge, but Magne flopped. If he doesn't flop, they're probably not even going to call that a charge, if I'm honest about it. But that Bennon one is like that no call. That's where I'm angry because that is clearly an offensive foul. He extends the arm out. that should have been called then and there. That the same motion that Toei makes to fall over is the exact same thing Bannon does down the other end a couple minutes later. I just want consistency from the refs, and I thought they have been reasonably good so far this season, but this time round, I think they dropped the ball quite a bit. I think there was a bit of inconsistency there. So yeah, I didn't exactly get a lot of sleep that night. I kept playing over in my head, and I think I went back and watched it again. Definitely okay with the two being actually caught on tie, but that Banner one definitely was a charge as well.
Yep, I'm with you on that. They were both the same call. I'm so tired of the inconsistency of the refs. I have no problem losing a game to the better team on the day, ever, on the night, none at all. But I have a massive problem losing because of inconsistent refereeing. And I will say that 99% of that game, they actually did a great job. And they were choosing to call most things soft fouls. I was like, that's soft, that's soft, that's soft. At least they're being consistent on their
Yeah.
softness. They were calling soft on both ends. Like they were calling them on us and I was soft. I was calling them then. I'm like, they were soft. They were just soft calls. But they were consistently soft calls. So they'd set the tone of how they were going to ref. And I was like, great, they're just doing their thing. But that last call was by Vaughan Maybury, referee of the year last year. And he will have no consequence for that bad call. There was no consequence at all. And there is nobody on any commentary thing that I have watched so far that hasn't said that that was not a flop. And if Tyrell got the offensive foul, then, Bannon needed to get it as well. Nobody's going, oh, they were definitely different. Everyone is saying the same thing. So what I'm going to say to Vaughan is, you've got no consequence for this. The most that'll happen is you go, oh, well, sorry about that, fellas. But this is absolutely impacted the Bullets' ability to win that game. Had that gone the other way, everything could have changed for us. And so that's on Vaughan. It really is, and I'm really disappointed. And referees are meant to be invisible. They're just meant to go officiating the game. The game is meant to be the champion. I don't even want to know their names. They're all very nice people. If they do an excellent job, then we don't notice them because the game is the champion. And I haven't seen that in the NBL yet. I want more accessibility to what the process is with referees. What do they do? I just heard that in the WNBA, they spend hours after every game going over every single call. So every single game there is in refs, they sit down with one of the refereeing coaches or whoever it is, the head of referees, and they go through every call, every missed call. So they go through the whole game, every single call they made. Was it the right call? Was it the wrong call? What could you do differently? Having said that, their refs aren't great, and we've got a massive problem in the WNBA at the moment. So they're having lower level refs come in. I don't think there's any problem with our referees as such, but there are calls that are not consistent, and I want to see more accountability on that side. They also covered it on overtime. And the thing that they did say was the ref who called the second charge on Harrison is a new ref to the NBL. So he's come over from America. He doesn't know the game. He doesn't know how well Magnay plays this game and how his flopping action looks like a charge most of the time. And the second one was Vaughan Maybury. And what they also said, so what Felix said was a really great point. He said the ref who called that one on Harrison, he didn't have a good enough position to be able to see what was actually going on, that it was actually a flop. So that was on the other ref who was on that other corner to just go, hold on a sec, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's review this ourselves. They had an opportunity to do a referees. Let's have a look at it. So that goes back to Vaughan Maybury as well. So Vaughan, come on, hand that trophy back.
Yeah. I will say that the challenge on the first charge, I thought was silly because that wasted our challenge. I was disagreeing with that one during the game, and so had we not blown that challenge, we probably would have been able to use it for that second one. And
that was a missed one.
Yeah.
In the presser, when asked about the officiating, Stu was asked, and he said he just wants communication and consistency, and maybe that wasn't completely there tonight. So he was diplomatic, which is admirable, but it's also very reasonable to ask for consistency, not just ask for it, demand it. Ruck said in moments that mattered that didn't feel like Brisbane got a fair shake on that call. I think there was Bannon on Tohi. And so Ruck went on to say one blown call and one accurate call. So the one on the goal right, you need to get the other one right as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the most that will happen is they'll send an apology and say, yeah, we got it wrong.
Yeah.
It had an influence on the game. If
Yeah.
that had happened in the first quarter, it'd be like, oh, well. But happening at that point of the game, it's really, really disappointing.
Yeah. And then they let stuff go right at the end there where we needed to get a stop. And there's
We needed
clearly a
those
couple of
fouls.
fouls and they didn't call it, but they've called soft stuff the rest of the game. So yeah.
Yeah. And we got that 0.8 seconds to go. I was like, is that 8 seconds? It's like, no, it's 0.8.
0.8.
Like,
yeah.
God damn it. God damn it. So we'll move on now to the other big controversy that's happening around the Bullets for some people about coaching. We had a question. What was the question, Cam?
Yeah, so we had a question from Trent Riley on Facebook. Do we think Stu Lash is an upgrade to Justin Schuler? So for me, I think he's doing a better job in bringing everyone together, getting that cohesion, getting them on the same page. I definitely think the methods are definitely unorthodox and the optics don't look great from the outside. While the wins aren't necessarily showing anything yet, I think our defense is improving. It's definitely doing better. The stats are showing that our defense is better than recent years. And, I think Saturday night's game actually proved that we're tracking in the right direction. So he might, maybe not in terms of knowing his X's and O's being an upgrade, but I think, and that's what we've got Vandy and, DMAC for, but I think in the way he's managing the team and making them more cohesive, yes, he is an upgrade.
Just in terms of the stats you were saying, just a quick one, Cam, is that like, so we've played 4 games so far, is that comparing to the first 4 games last season?
I think
is it the whole season?
Yeah, I think was over the whole season. I think we're tracking in the right direction defensively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been flummoxed by people having a problem with this. I don't see anything that he's doing as being unorthodox at all. I've not had a single problem with it at all.
It's just so different to what people are accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. I think we just need to educate ourselves a little bit more because when, the other league that I watch, and I've said lots of times, Sammy Whitcomb, shout out, Sammy Whitcomb. She's in the finals and her Phoenix Mercury versus Las Vegas Aces, and the Aces are up 2 games to love, but they've got 7 games in that series. Over there, it's really normal. It's really normal to watch the assistant coaches. So they've got head coach, at least 2. Most great teams have got 3 assistant coaches, and then you've got some legend coaches. The head coach is not the one with the clipboard most of the time. Like, other assistants will come in. You can see so clearly that it is a shared position. The head coach holds the head and she will yell and run onto the court and scream if she needs to at sometimes and get the biggest fine ever seen in the WNBA history. But it's so normal. And so when you see it in other leagues, I didn't even blink an eye at it. I actually had a bit of a smile going, he's showing that he doesn't have NBL experience, which I like. He's showing his American experience now, and he's showing bringing a bit of American basketball over to Australia and not doing it our way. So I really liked it. And when you look at the coach of the year over in the WNBA was the Golden State Valkyries, Natalie Narkase. When she asked before the announcement, because everyone's like, it's your first season in the league and you're in the finals, you're going to get coach of the year. And she said, I'm not doing the scouting on my own. I'm not doing the play development on my own. I'm not doing the film work we have to do individually with the players. So I'm not doing any of it on my own. So it shouldn't even be coach of the year. It should be coaching staff of the year. And every great coach says that. They're like, I don't even know why I'm getting this award because this is a staff job. I cannot do this without everyone there. And it is, so for me, it's just how it's always done. And she won it. And she just credited her staff and told us everything that they do and gave us this amazing look into it. The style of coaching that I see from Stu is really normal in other places. Gazy himself said that you see it over in the collegiate league. I think in an NBL interview last season, Dean Vickerman said that he is the culture guy. I have an expert assistant coach for my offense. I have an expert assistant coach doing the defense, and they're doing the scouts and things. He said, I really bring it all together and make sure it's running smoothly, but I literally run the culture. And so I don't want Stu Lash giving individual coaching to our point guards, nor did I want Shula doing it when you've got someone like D-Mac on the sidelines. So I don't want him trying to come in and take control of the team. And that's why he was chosen, because of our assistants and the experts that they are. So you'll notice in all teams, when you look closer and the head coach speaks, that the assistants will speak to individuals. So if you just look now, if everyone just starts broadening their mind a little bit more and start looking at the broadcast, it's like you'll see the head coach speak. But when the head coach has finished speaking, you'll watch the experts now, and you'll watch the big guy coach speak to the big guys, and you watch the guard coach speak to the guards, and you'll see the other coaches come in and about. And in great sides, what you will also see is assistant coaches coming up and talking to the head coach as they're head coaching. Head coach cannot do it all at once. And have a look at Vandy. He sits there on the sideline and he's got a little clipboard, and he's marking the clipboard every play. Now, Peter Crawford used to do that. And I know Peter Crawford and have done for a long time. And I was like, dude, what's with the clipboard? What are you doing? And he said, I map the flow of the offense. What type of shot, if it goes in, 3 or 2, paint touches, passes, offensive boards. And I asked him, who's that for?
Deflections.
Is that deflections? He's literally running the points of the game to see what's working, what not, what needs to happen. So the one who did the scouts for the teams too. He did most of the scouts. And so I asked him, was that for you or was that for the head coach? He said, no one else wants it. He said, they can have it if they want it. No one else wants it. It's my job to follow the flow of the game and help me make solid suggestions from the data that we're seeing. And then at a timeout, what happens is you'll notice the head coach doesn't just go to the players and talk in a timeout. All the coaches come together and they talk. And the assistants go, this is what's happening, this is what needs to happen. The person with the scout goes, we're not following the scout here. We have so many experts. And then they say, I think we should run this. I think we should do that. I think that's what we're looking at here. They all agree. And then the head coach usually goes and delivers it. And so the head coach goes, right, we're going to do scrap, and writes it on the board. So the only thing different that Stu is actually doing is he's saying, right, Vandy, you go do that, deliver it. You tell him that, instead of him going to do it. Vandy would have told him what the play was anyway, and Stu would have just gone and drawn it up. And so the only thing Stu is doing different to every other coach in the league is he's saying, Vandy, you go show him. He's actually letting them do it. And I see that as a win. I see that it's great leadership, nothing but great leadership. And when they're in training, because I'm always looking at the big things, I'm always looking at what's going on behind the scenes. In training, the head coach will be there for the drills, run them hard, and then the head coach will stand back and he'll say, that assistant coach takes the starting 5, that assistant coach takes the white shirts, and they coach them through those training sessions. And so there's this whole thing going on behind the scenes. And that's where Stu Lash said in his press conference, I'm not going to listen to somebody I wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah.
There's so much going on behind the scenes. I love what he's been doing. I see no problem at it at all. I've been a vocal supporter from the start. I challenge a few of the coaching decisions. I'm like, guys, what are you doing there? But nothing negative to say. I think everyone makes mistakes every now and then.
Yeah.
So that's my big story on that. People have asked me, lots of people, even at the game, they're like, so what do you think about this coach? I'm like, well, let me tell you what I think about the coach. And I'd give them that whole spiel. So now it's on the podcast. I'll refer them here. The only question I did have, is why are there no players in any of the post-game press conferences? I'm noticing this.
Morgan Earl mentioned this in some of his posts. Apparently, losing team is not required to provide a player to attend the presser. So it's optional for losing teams. It's mandatory for a winning team, I guess.
But, so I went back and looked because I read your note and I was like, that's really interesting. I'll go back and see. He did not have anyone in the NZ press conference, the first game where they won.
Okay, so my comment about it being optional for losing teams, I'm trying to remember if it was late last season or the start of this season, and I don't know if they changed the rules or...
Wouldn't it be great to know? It's just, I'm really interested. What is the protocol? Who chooses who goes in? Does the coach choose who goes in? Do the media ask for players? How does it work?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did notice last season, a lot of teams, it was happening with a lot of teams where, and even winning teams, I think a lot of the time it was just the coach. I think we did not have a single press conference last season where we didn't have player and coach, because it was something that really stood out to me. I'm like, we're the only ones that are doing it every game. We've got a player
Yeah,
and a
teams like
coach.
Adelaide, they were just sending Mike Wells
Yeah,
on his own and stuff like that.
yeah. So yeah, so maybe they've just decided this season that, you know, just let Stu handle it all. And I've quite liked his press conferences so far. I've thought he's handled himself really well.
Yeah, I like the way he carries himself in the presses.
Yeah,
Just regarding Stu and, he's perceived and everything, like in the presser, he said, you want to come and watch practice? Call us. So he's,
yeah,
what you see on game day is just the result of what happens at practice. So yeah, come watch practice, call us.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on, our next game preview. So Bullets versus Hawks, Saturday, 11th of October at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. We're going to Illawarra.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Cam?
Yeah, there's no easy game in this league, so it's going to be tough. I think I'll be saying that every week. It's going to be tough. Hawks are struggling a little bit at the moment, I think, especially without Hickey, and I think their import point guard is a little bit shaky. He's not probably producing the way they need him. He's a little bit different to the way Trey Kell was. So I think that's actually affecting the flow of their offense a little bit. And then with Hickey out as well, that's having a really big impact. Obviously, JaVale McGee, he's going to be a massive problem. But, Ty, from what I've seen, and I think you had showed us the stats in the one game that they played against each other in Puerto Rico. Ty actually did pretty well against him. Yes, McGee had a good game, but Ty had a pretty good game as well. So I'm actually really looking forward to that matchup. And hopefully after the poor game Ty's just had, he's going to come out fired up for it. So yeah, and hopefully we'll have Prather and JFL back. But
Yeah.
after what we just showed against the Jack Jumpers, I think we've got everything we need to get the job done if they play the exact same way.
At least as
Yeah.
well as.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a bit excited about these ones. I had these guys as champions at the start, and I love watching JaVale McGee. I also believe we can beat them. I believe they are beatable, and they're 0 for 2. But again, we get an interesting setup. They went to Perth. Illawarra went to Perth and they looked dominant, and then they got beaten in Perth. So they're 0 for 2 and people are talking and they love an underdog tag. Tatum's press conference after that game was short, sharp, not happy. If you go back and watch that, you will say he is not happy. So
It's like yes, no answers or something to the questions. What was it?
yeah, and they were short and he had cranky face on. And so they are in for a week of training and big expectations for the next home game. I believe they will be looking to rewrite that balance. But first, which might go in our favour, they will travel to New Zealand. Hopefully they will get a win in New Zealand and it will just take the pressure off them enough that we're not coming into that home game. If they're 0-3 and coming into a home game, the level that they're going to bring to us is going to go up. But again, if we play with that same intensity from the get-go, if we come out like we did, if we do not take a backward step like we did on Saturday, and if we do, as Scott said, and start and get onto those boards, basics, box out.
Crash the boards.
Crash those boards. I always back us as long as we're close at the end. I'll always
Box out,
back us if
close
we're
out.
close.
Yep.
What would be great would be if we get some shot clock violations from the Hawks. I'd love to
Wouldn't
see
it be
that.
nice?
Yeah.
But yeah, I
nice.
think it's gettable. It'll be interesting who's going to get the Tyler Harvey assignment, the defensive assignment, and maybe it's Tane from tip-off, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. So Scott, you've got 2 new segments for us. What are they?
Just a couple of quick ones. So the first one just is for the next game, who just needs to back themselves? If they're open, shoot it type situation. Just pick a player. Maybe one of the bench players.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tane.
Yep.
Just back himself
That's a
again. After the Jack Jumpers game, he just continued to back himself. I think he's got the goods to keep producing what he gave us on Saturday night.
Yep, I'm going with Harrison. I need him to back himself. I need him to back himself big time. I need him to get back to a +12.
Love it.
I need him to remember who he is. He's going up against a big man, and I think he will rise himself to match JaVale McGee for the occasion.
Yep.
How about you, Scott?
I also went for Tane. For, just maintain the energy from the Jack Jumpers game.
Yep.
Pick up where he left off.
Great. All right. Then, what's his next one?
So it's just a little no. So the first no is, so Stu has talked about how the percentages, we've kept it really tight in the games where we've fallen short. We've lost by a combined 10 points, 3 games. There was the 1 point loss to Cairns, 7 points to Adelaide, 2 points to Tassie.
Jack Jumpers. Yep.
So the no is that's going to help us in our ladder position later in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're backing ourselves that it's more that we just fell short than, that's another L, too many L's. So we're confident that, the tiny losses are going to convert to W's sometime soon.
I'd rather be Brisbane than Cairns right now.
So just on that little thing as well, I think if you go back and look, I don't know, I think it might have been either the Jack Jumpers' first season or it was their championship season where they sort of started the season like this and they were like 1 and something, but every single loss they had was like really, really, really close.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next one, the Entertainment Centre home crowd in the next home game is going to, and this is like I'm relying on like what was the energy like in the last one. It's going to help us get the W with the energy.
Yeah.
The crowd.
Yeah. It's against Melbourne United. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't looking at the schedule. Right. I'll try and think of a better one for the next pod.
Yeah. We'll do it. It's sure.
Glass half full.
It's Melbourne United.
All right. We're going to have 5 games before Christmas with a full healthy squad.
Mm-hmm. Is this like a Christmas wish list? I'm a nah.
I'm going nah.
All I want for Christmas. I was trying to count the weeks. So, like, we still have another, is it 6 or 7 weeks of Smack being out? Or 6 weeks of Nordo being out and 7 of Smack out?
Yeah, I'm going.
Another 4 with Holt out.
Okay, so it's going to be less than 5 before Christmas that everyone's on deck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a no on that, and let's hope we're wrong.
I need to lower my expectations, basically.
Yes.
Well, you're the one who says we can't have nice things. We're just
not before Christmas, apparently.
No.
Yeah, apparently I need to wait for Christmas. So that's all I got.
Nice. Thank you. That's fun. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Bullets Nation. Follow us on socials. Just look us up, Bullets Nation Podcast, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
From the river city under bright skies, where the hustle and heart always rise. One team, one voice, we're giving our all. Feel the rush, hear the crowd, Bullets Nation. We're strong.